Christianity has obviously had a very big role in systemic racism in America, and things like scripture being used in incorrect ways, being that it's the story of the Jewish people, but being used to sort of generalize spirituality and religious devotion and how to live for everyone, which is extraordinarily dangerous, as your story shows us. Very hurtful, just as hurtful as a Confederate statue that people are toppling right now. What are your thoughts about the role that Christianity has played in slavery, discrimination, systemic racism, particularly in American culture as and this term makes me sick, Christian nation, where Christianity, a certain type of Christianity, equals patriotism and nationalism? What are your thoughts about where that's brought us and what's going to happen as we kind of near this tipping point, it seems?
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, Christianity and other religions as well, actually, because a lot of the work that I did when I was at Intersections was in the multi-religious context. And, religion is used often to validate some very unholy kind of tendencies on the part of humankind. And Christianity is not exempt from that. So that for all kinds of economic reasons, for all kinds of power dynamics and reasons of trying to maintain power over people, Christianity has been corrupted. And so very often we see in all kinds of historical settings, but currently in our world, we see the gospel used, or the religious texts, or a faith used in a way that is selective, and the whole gospel is not used. The abundance of passages in scripture that talk about supporting the poor in various ways, in solidarity and financially and that kind of thing, those are kind of relegated to a secondary place, often in terms of piety and individual salvation, and that has led to a real corruption, in my mind, of what Christianity is all about. So it's hard to be true to the faith. That's why we were talking earlier about, sometimes I'm very careful about telling people what my profession is, right, because it has so much baggage and has been corrupted so many times. Right. I've done a lot of work in Pakistan, as you know, and I've done it in the interreligious sphere. And in the first trips that we've been there 8 times over the course of the past decade. And in the first trips that we went, one of our major tasks was convincing Pakistani Muslims that we were not there to convert them, right, because they had a preconceived notion at the time, thanks to the cowboy in the White House, George Bush, that right, that we were not there to convert people. We were there to listen to them and to be in solidarity with them as we seek to address problems of human rights and human need in both our countries. So Christianity can be corrupted. When it comes to race, you overlay that kind of corruption with the whole notion of economic disparity and the power dynamic, so that those in power, which have historically been white people in this country, seek to maintain that power, and they use any means necessary to do that. And one of those means is religion.
And so often, and this is part of the point of honest white people. You've got 2 reverends, you and I, ordained in the Christian church, who, really want to be clear that we recognize and lament how often the Bible and Christianity and white male Christian patriarchal leadership has used scripture to try to defend slavery and to try to defend all types of marginalization, and creating this fake white Jesus that's nothing like the historical Jesus that actually lived and had very dark skin and was in a marginalized group himself.